All right, fellas, we are here in the part 2 banners of the 9th anniversary for Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, the global version, of course. And I think, me, just like every other content creator has been saying, I think it's an absolute priority to walk away with Beast Gohan from this anniversary. I think pretty much like at all costs, right? You gotta walk away with one copy of Beast. So if you're unable to acquire him during these 3+1 summons, you then need to use your 77 ticket multi to try to acquire him, right? He is just so good, an absolute slot 1 dynamo, right? He is really the best unit in the game. It's no joke, no cap, none of that. He can just hold down slot 1. You get his active skill, and he protects you from every attack that the boss has to offer. So obviously not going to come into play for paying players, but again, free-to-play players or, very low-spending players, I really wouldn't even worry about the Gammas. The Gammas banner, I would say, is fairly good. You do have the likes of, like, Bulma on it, for instance. However, a lot of... I say it's good. So you've got the Gammas. Gammas, I know it's hard to believe, they're probably the 3rd best Carnival LR that's out there. It's not an indictment on them, really. It's just the quality that, like, Gogeta and Carnival Jiren bring to the table. I just don't think the Gammas can quite hold up to that. The Gammas can still be a very powerful unit, right? Very good offensively, with their big active skill turn. When the Gammas swap into Gamma1, he's a really good defensive character. It's a solid unit, right? It's a fun unit. It's a very exciting moment in the actual anime, in the superhero movie. So for aesthetic purposes, collection purposes, like, eventually, yeah, you want to get your hands on the Gammas. But I just don't think that they really are holding a candle to what Beast Gohan has to bring to the table. So what you need to know basically about Beast Gohan, the very basics. So he's raising defense for 4 turns on his 18-key super. He is reducing damage if you can get him hit 5 or more times in battle on his first turn. He's essentially got 80% damage reduction, which is just absolutely absurd, right? A very, very high number on his big Dokkan Fest LR stats. He really is just a slot 1 menace. Being able to defend slot 1 the way that he does, just no one really does it like he does, right? I would say it's probably the rarest sort of character in the game is just like the slot 1 ace, right? A lot of units, most modern units, are quite good in slots 2 and 3, right? They can get up to really high defensive levels, but again, I just think his value in slot 1 just is really untouched. And another thing is his leader skill is absolutely crazy, right? You've got Bondmaster and Disciple, Superheroes, and Miraculous Awakening, so you can pretty much fit any good character on his team. It's in the same ilk as Broly, right? Broly's got a ridiculous leader skill like that as well. You can literally just fit, like, if the character's good, you could probably fit him on the team. We did just pull a Krillin in 18 there, for the record. So that is another really, really nice thing about him. That Superheroes team is just so ridiculously busted. And then you throw in the likes of, like, Miraculous Awakening, some of the really good units from Bondmaster and Disciple. It's just really, really good, right? So you have to walk away with Beast Gohan. Now, the one thing I would say to that is, yes, you want to walk away with Beast Gohan. However, in the only time in global history this unit will actually be back fairly fast. So to start with, they will, both of the units, right, the Gammas and Beast, and then Broly and Gogeta, they will be back on the Tanabata / Thank You Celebration banner, and you will be able to pick them up with coins, or if you dare summon on that banner, you could potentially summon them along with that Tech UI Goku, who, is another just, crazy, ridiculous unit. Not quite as good as Beast, but, very, very good. So that will be probably his first appearance. Now, we don't know 100% when the Tanabata celebration is coming for global. Because the unification of schedules, according to Amatsu and the Akatsuki team, is coming during the worldwide download celebration. So everything from the worldwide celebration 2024 and beyond, and even further beyond, if you will be unified. So the global and the Japanese servers, well, they won't be merged, but they will be in sync with one another, right? So not entirely sure when that Tanabata celebration. My inclining is going to be like its usual time, you know, November, December. That's my inclining, right? I could definitely see them, considering this is going to be the very last Super Dragon Ball Hero celebration that we know of. I think, you know, with the ending of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes anime and game, right? They introduced a new game to basically replace it. So we might end up getting that new game's characters in place of the Super Dragon Ball Heroes units. I mean, who knows, right? That could be something that happens down the line. This is like big speculation territory. But anyway, I could definitely see them doing some Tanabata stuff. Maybe releasing the banner, not maybe alongside, but maybe a week into the Super Dragon Ball Hero celebration, maybe you release the Tanabata banner and some of the content that comes along with it. You can release Tech UI, and then, you know, what is it, a week or two later, that you could do the thank you banner, right? The Tanabata banner itself, where you can actually pick up Beast, Gogeta, Gammas, Broly, right? So we shall see what happens, but at the very, very, very latest, we will be able to pick up these guys just straight up on good banners during the 10th anniversary. The 10th anniversary for Global, I know it's hard to believe, but is only like 6 months away. So we're closing in on the end of July. So let me do my maths here. So we have August, September, October, November, December, January, and pretty much the end of January, beginning of February is when we will get the 10th anniversary banner. So about 7 months, we'll be getting the return of Beast Gohan and the Gammas, right? Now we'll see how they spread it out. They could potentially, you know, it could be 2 weeks beyond that time if they end up putting Beast Gohan on the Part 2 banners, you know what I mean? They could potentially do it that way. I actually would probably suspect they would do it that way. But we will definitely have to see how all of that goes. This is big-time speculation territory, guys. I have no insider, you know, insider trading information or anything. This is really just me speculating. The summons have not been all that crazy. I have pulled a few featured units here, but not the main prize as of yet. I've pulled, I think, 1 or 2 copies of Krillin in 18. I've pulled some Vegetas. I think I've pulled maybe 1 AGLUI Goku. I've pulled the LR Super Saiyan 4s. The LR Super Saiyan 4s, speaking of 10th anniversary, they'll be getting their Easy A's in 7 months as well. That is absolutely just so crazy to think about. It's so wild how, you know, these 200% leaders are going to start getting their Easy A's now. It's a really tough pill to swallow. If you really think about it, at this point, there they are again. At this point, I mean, there's no reason why they can't just Easy A some of the other 200% leader characters, right? You know, if Worldwide Download Celebration potentially becomes like another Namek Saga, perhaps, I could see it. You know, I could see it done. You know, why not? A lot of people are leaning towards GT, and I do kind of get why. We haven't had a proper GT celebration. You think about on JP, man, they haven't had a proper GT celebration since their Tanabata celebration of last year, if I am not mistaken. What were there any other GT characters released other than that LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku? I don't think so. Speaking of GT, there we go, right? There is the GT Duo, the 8th anniversary LRs. I do not have them rainbowed as of yet. Yeah, there's a AGLUI. So hype when he came out originally. Do not need him anymore, although I will probably save some of the copies to maybe fix his hidden potential system a little bit. I'd like to add a little bit more dodge to him if I could. So, gonna drop some tickets here on the good old ticket banner. This is kind of a transitioning into a different topic, I suppose. I guess to wrap up my last statement, if Worldwide Download Celebration is Planet Namek Saga, I could see them maybe doing like a Captain Ginyu EZA. I mean, he was the first, for JP that is, he was the first 200% leader after the anniversary, right? So for Global, he came right before. And then before him, we had Majin Vegeta, right? And then before them, we had the Golden Week units, right? So the Goku and the Cell. So we had quite a few 200% leaders going into our 7th anniversary. But I digress. So if you guys follow the community online or on YouTube at all, which I'd wager if your eyes find this video, I would wager that you know, you are at least somewhat in tune. You probably follow some of the bigger Dokkan tubers. Do not need them anymore. I am so sick of seeing them. That's one of the most disappointing releases ever in this game's history, by the way. The Super Saiyan duo there. But Global, man, they got their tickets. We got our tickets. It was a really, really good move by Akatsuki. You know, they quote unquote they took away the discounts. We got one round of discounts, right? But they took away the featured unit steps, right? So the very last step is a guaranteed featured, right? They took away, quote unquote, that format, even though, yeah, Amatsu never said it was going to be for part 2. I will grant you, but obviously there was a bit of controversy going on here, right? So I was able to grind up 2 more stones, and we'll rip 1 more multi on this banner. And we get the Saiyan Trio held by Fate here. So that is, from what I know, that is a guaranteed double featured unit. That is what I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't seen anyone say otherwise. That's what I think it is from my experience with these superhero summons. Whew, okay. Feels good to have this guy. It really, really, really feels good. Again, as I've mentioned way earlier, you know, it's a very, very high priority to get 1 copy of this guy. So this was a ridiculous multi if you really think about it. You know, 4 SSRs, 3 Dokkan Fest LRs. Didn't get to talk about a lot of other stuff in this video, but the video's over. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Slap a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Love you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.